Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Are you living your life by design or by default? Because the truth is, most people wake up every day not to create their life, but to survive it. They roll out of bed, drag themselves through routines they hate, work jobs that don't inspire them, live in relationships they're not growing in, and settle for a version of life that is a mere shadow of what they once dreamed. This is why I say you work hard to make it, not to create their life by design. Buy it by part of it. You work harder, you were too fat, you're too skinny, you're too old, you're too tall, but you're not here to settle, you're not here to blend in. You're here to awaken something inside you that has been sleeping for far too long. You're here to manifest your life. Now, what does it mean to manifest? It's not magic. It's not some airy-fairy idea where you just sit on the couch, close your eyes, and hope the universe drops your dreams in your lap. Manifestation is about stepping into the driver's seat of your own mind. It's about aligning your beliefs, your energy, your habits, and your decisions with the life you want to live. Because the life you're living right now, it's not a mistake, it's a result. Every result has a cause, and the cause is you, your thinking, your rituals, your standards. So if you want to change your life, you've got to change the patterns that created it. You see, most people wait for evidence before they believe. But champions, visionaries, they believe before the evidence. That's what makes them leaders. That's what makes them creators. They don't wait for the world to give them permission. They decide who they are. They declare it. And then they act in alignment with that vision every single day. That's manifestation. You want to manifest success? Speak like someone who's already successful. Walk into a room like your presence alone shifts the energy. Not out of ego, but out of purpose. Because people who are certain of their path don't need to shout. Their energy introduces them. You want to manifest love? Start by loving yourself so fiercely that you never settle for less again. You don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. So become it. You want to manifest wealth? Then stop saying, I can't afford it. That's the language of limitation. Speak the language of possibility. Ask, how can I create the means? Wealth isn't just money, it's mindset. It's resourcefulness. And resourcefulness is the ultimate resource. Let me break something down for you. Your thoughts are the blueprint. Your emotions are the fuel. Your actions are the tools. Your results are the evidence. But most people sabotage themselves at the blueprint. They think small. They doubt. They entertain the voice in their head that says, who am I to dream that big? That voice is a liar. It's a script written by fear and past pain. Burn the script, write a new one. And when it gets hard, and it will get hard, don't retreat. That resistance you feel, that's the tension between who you've been and who you're becoming. That's the stretch. That's growth. That's the sign that you're stepping into a new frequency. So, when your back's against the wall, you don't shrink, you don't complain, you dig in. You remind yourself, I was born to create. I was born to lead. I was born to lead. I was born to manifest. Manifestation is not about control. It's about surrendering to the vision and taking relentless action. It's about walking by faith, not by sight. Because faith is the muscle of manifestation. You train it every day when you choose belief over fear. And let me tell you something powerful. You don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't need permission. All you need is a decision. Decide who you want to become. Decide what you will no longer tolerate. Decide what you will commit to. Because once you commit, the universe reorganizes itself around that commitment. But you have to show up fully, not halfway, not if it works. You show up until it works. And when the world throws distractions, when it tests your discipline, when friends don't understand, when doubt creeps in, you hold the vision. You lock into that mental movie of the life you are creating, and you live from it, not toward it, from it. Because manifestation is about identity. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. So become the person your dream requires. If your dream demands discipline, become discipline. If it demands courage, become courage. If it demands consistency, become consistency. Don't chase the goal. Become the version of you that naturally attracts that goal. This is your moment, right here, right now. Draw a line in the sand and say, I am done living on autopilot. I am done being a victim of my circumstances. I am the author of my story, and starting today, I write a new chapter. One of greatness, one of purpose, one of action, one of manifestation. Not because it's easy, but because you're no longer available for anything less than your potential. So I challenge you, don't just listen to this and feel hyped for 5 minutes. Make a decision, make a shift, draw your vision, feel it in your soul, speak it with power, act on it with fire. And when you do that, when you align your mind, your heart, and your energy with the life you want, you don't just dream, you manifest your life. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. This is one of the most powerful truths when it comes to manifestation, growth, and lasting transformation. Most people go through life focusing on what they want: success, wealth, love, freedom, thinking that desire alone is the driver of results. But desire without alignment is just fantasy. Wanting is passive. Becoming is active. The universe doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to who you are being on a consistent, energetic, emotional, and behavioral level. If you say you want abundance, but constantly operate from a place of fear, lack, or hesitation, you're misaligned. You're sending mixed signals. You're placing one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. You cannot manifest a life that your habits, thoughts, and identity contradict every single day. Your results will always expose your alignment. And the truth is, every outcome you experience is a reflection of your inner reality. Your outer world is the mirror of your internal standards. So if you want to shift what you're experiencing, you don't start with chasing more, you start with becoming more. Becoming is the process of embodying the frequency of your desires. It's about tuning your mindset, your language, your energy, your posture, your daily rituals, and your self-concept to match the reality you're creating. If you want success, become someone who consistently follows through, who values time, who takes ownership, who speaks like a leader, thinks like a builder, and acts like a finisher. If you want love, become someone who loves themselves, respects their boundaries, heals their wounds, and radiates emotional availability. You don't attract what you fantasize about once in a while. You attract what you embody consistently. This is why change is uncomfortable. Because it's not about doing something new once, it's about becoming someone new forever. That requires shedding the identity that's been keeping you small. It requires challenging the version of you that's addicted to procrastination, approval, or mediocrity. The old identity is familiar, but it's not where your future lives. The new version of you already exists, It's waiting for you to decide. This decision is not made once, it's made daily, hourly, moment by moment. You become your future self, not in one giant leap, but in every small choice you make when no one is watching. How you speak to yourself when things go wrong. How you react when fear shows up. How you respond when you're tempted to quit. That's where identity is formed. In the tension, in the gap between your current reality and your higher self. And most people run from that gap. They avoid the work, the discomfort, the mirror. But if you truly want to change your life, you have to get intimate with that gap and walk through it again and again until you don't recognize your old self anymore. Because when you are the thing you want, when you are the kind of person who deserves the life you're dreaming of, the results become inevitable. You don't have to chase. You don't have to beg. You attract. You magnetize. You receive what already belongs to you by law of alignment. Manifestation isn't just a vision board or a journal entry. It's the process of upgrading your internal operating system so that your actions, emotions, and beliefs match the outcome you desire. It's integrity at the highest level. You can't say you want peace and engage in chaos. You can't say you want health and disrespect your body. You can't say you want success and keep quitting every time it gets uncomfortable. You must become the person who does the things that produce the results. That's how identity becomes destiny. When your behavior aligns with your beliefs, and your beliefs are in harmony with your vision, then you stop waiting for change, you start embodying it. That's when things shift. That's when doors open. That's when alignment turns into momentum, and momentum turns into transformation. Your life will always rise or fall to the level of your identity. So the question isn't, what do you want? It's, who are you willing to become? Your thoughts are the blueprint, your actions are the builders. Everything you experience in your life begins with a thought. Every achievement, every failure, every breakthrough, and every limitation starts in the mind. Most people don't realize that their mind is a construction site, constantly laying down the foundation for their future, whether intentionally or by default. If your thoughts are disorganized, weak, or rooted in fear, the structure of your life will reflect that. But when your thoughts are focused, empowered, and fueled by clarity, they become the solid framework upon which extraordinary lives are built. Thought alone isn't enough, but it is where everything begins. It is the original spark, the architecture of reality, the unseen force that silently shapes your destiny. Without a clear mental design, you're just moving blindly. You can take all the action in the world, but if it's not aligned with the right blueprint, you'll be building the wrong life. What most people do is they try to change the structure without changing the blueprint. They try to force success while holding on to beliefs that sabotage it. They want transformation, but refuse to rewire the thoughts that created their current reality. You can't install a new life on an old mindset. That's like putting a penthouse on a crumbling foundation. If you want to build something lasting, powerful, and aligned, you need to go deep into the thoughts you've allowed to become permanent residents in your mind. Every belief you hold is either building you up or breaking you down. And beliefs are just thoughts you've repeated enough times to accept as truth. So if you want to change your life, you don't wait, you audit your blueprint. You study the wiring of your mind and ask, is this the design that matches the life I want? If not, you tear it down. You rebuild it with precision, with vision, with truth. Because thoughts create standards, and standards shape behaviors, and behaviors determine your results. But thought alone cannot move mountains. The blueprint is useless without the builder. And that's where action comes in. Action is the commitment you make to your thoughts. It's how you prove to your mind that the blueprint matters. Every time you act in alignment with your vision, you reinforce the structure. You add walls, you lay bricks, you elevate the design from idea to experience. Action is how you pull the intangible into the physical. Without action, thought is just potential, unrealized, untouched, wasted. But action, backed by clear thought, is unstoppable. It's the force that turns momentum into mastery. When your thoughts are intentional and your actions are disciplined, life responds. The right people show up. The right opportunities appear. Resources begin to flow. Not because of luck, but because you've constructed a frequency that draws them in. There's a reason the most successful people in the world aren't just dreamers, they're doers. They think with purpose, and then they move with power. They don't wait until they feel like it. They don't operate based on emotion. They operate based on alignment. They know that the blueprint means nothing if the builders never show up. So they show up. Consistently, relentlessly, strategically. They understand that clarity of thought gives direction, but consistency of action gives results. They take the vision in their mind and carve it into reality, one step, one decision, one disciplined moment at a time. They don't need to see the full picture before they start. They trust the process because they trust the blueprint. And they trust the blueprint because they created it through focus, belief, and intention. This is the secret most people miss. They either overthink and never act, or they act without thinking clearly. Both paths lead to frustration, burnout, and stagnation. The real power is in the harmony between thought and action. When what you think and what you do are in alignment, there's no resistance. There's no inner war. Your energy is focused. Your direction is clear. Your purpose is activated. That's how buildings rise. That's how legacies are built. That's how lives are manifested from the invisible into the visible. It's not random. It's not accidental. It's architectural. The question is, what are you thinking daily? What are you building? What kind of life are you constructing with your current blueprint and the actions that follow it? Manifestation begins where certainty replaces doubt. Doubt is the silent killer of dreams. It's the inner whisper that says you're not ready, not worthy, not enough. It creeps into your thoughts, hijacks your confidence, and convinces you to stay small when everything in your soul is asking you to rise. Most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they hesitate. And they hesitate because they doubt. Doubt makes you pause when you should act. It makes you overthink when you should move. And it makes you give up when you're just a few steps away from breakthrough. But the moment you make a decision to replace doubt with certainty, everything changes. Certainty is not arrogance. It's not pretending to have all the answers. It's the grounded belief that what you desire is already yours if you fully align with it. It's the inner conviction that no matter what the external conditions look like, the outcome is inevitable because you've already claimed it in your spirit, in your actions, in your energy. Certainty is the ignition switch of manifestation. You can't manifest what you don't fully believe is possible. The universe doesn't respond to confusion, it responds to clarity. And certainty is clarity in motion. It's the unwavering decision to back yourself even when there's no evidence yet. It's the posture of someone who doesn't need approval, doesn't need guarantees, doesn't need every piece of the puzzle before making the first move. Certainty says, I don't know exactly how, but I know it's happening. That energy creates momentum. That energy opens doors. That energy sends a signal. And when you're truly ready, things start to shift. Resources begin to appear. Conversations take a new direction. The path begins to reveal itself. Not because it wasn't there before, but because you couldn't see it while you were doubting. Doubt blurs vision. Certainty sharpens it. When you operate from certainty, your actions become intentional. Your decisions become powerful. Your presence becomes magnetic. Certainty doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means you move anyway. It means you don't allow temporary emotion to rewrite your permanent commitment. Fear is a guest. Certainty is a resident. Fear visits everyone. The difference between those who create extraordinary lives and those who don't is what they choose to give authority to. You can't wait to feel certain to take action. You must choose certainty and let your action build the evidence. Most people look for proof before they commit, but proof comes after you've decided, after you've acted, after you've endured. Certainty is the bridge that gets you through the unknown. It's what keeps you focused when the results haven't arrived yet. It's the trust that your energy is not being wasted. It's being invested. Every thought, every effort, every decision made from certainty is a deposit into your future. The reason most people stay stuck is because they feed their doubt more than their vision. They replay failure. They rehearse disappointment. They speak in hesitation. And every time they do, they weaken their own power. You can't build a powerful life with a doubtful mind. Manifestation requires energetic alignment, and doubt is the energy of contradiction. You can't say you want something and constantly think about what could go wrong. You can't visualize a future and simultaneously fear it won't happen. That tug of war creates delay, frustration, and emotional exhaustion. But when you commit fully, mind, heart, and body, you eliminate that inner war. You become available only for the outcome you desire. That's what makes you powerful. Not perfect, not lucky, aligned, certain, grounded, focused, present. That's the energy that creates change. That's the energy that draws results. The most powerful creators are not the most talented, the most certain, the most educated, or even the most experienced. They are the most certain. They speak with clarity, act with urgency, and walk with intention. They understand that certainty isn't a feeling, it's a decision. It's a daily commitment to belief, to trust, to alignment. And that decision fuels everything else. It influences how you speak, how you think, how you show up. It impacts how others perceive you. It determines how long you keep going when things get quiet, when it gets hard, when the world starts to question your path. Because the world always follows the energy of certainty. When you are certain, others begin to believe. When you are certain, opportunities begin to unfold. When you are certain, your vision becomes louder than your circumstances. If your dream demands more, become more. Every next level of your life demands a next level of you. Dreams don't come true just because you wish for them. They come true because you rise into the version of yourself that can hold them. People think manifestation is about sitting back and waiting for the universe to deliver, but real manifestation is about expansion. It's about stretching yourself beyond comfort, beyond routine, beyond who you've been. Your dream is not waiting for the perfect time. It's waiting for the version of you who is ready, capable, responsible, disciplined, and strong enough to carry it. Every great vision is a call to evolve. You're not being denied your dream, you're being developed for it. And until you grow into it, it won't feel aligned, it won't last, it won't sustain. Growth is the price of entry into your next chapter, and resistance to growth is resistance to the dream itself. The truth is, your current habits, patterns, and beliefs have created the life you're in now. If your dream exists outside of that, something inside you has to shift. Wanting more without becoming more is the definition of frustration. You can build a mansion on the mindset of survival. You can't lead a movement while still living in self-doubt. You can't attract abundance with a scarcity identity. Everything you want is located just outside your current comfort zone. And you don't get there by negotiating with your limits. You get there by raising your standards, shifting your identity, and choosing growth over and over again, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable, because the discomfort is the evidence that you're moving into new territory. It's the sign that you're stretching into your dream rather than shrinking back into your past. Becoming more isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest. Honest about the excuses that keep showing up. Honest about the patterns that keep repeating. Honest about the level of effort, focus, and discipline you've truly been showing. It takes courage to admit that your dream requires more than what you've been given. But in that courage lies power. Because once you admit it, you can change it. You can recalibrate. You can elevate. You can start to build the emotional, mental, and physical foundation strong enough to carry the weight of your vision. Your dream is not just about achievement, it's about transformation. It's asking you to become someone who thinks bigger, acts bolder, and lives deeper. Someone who shows up with excellence, leads with intention, and walks in integrity. The moment you commit to becoming more, the world around you begins to shift. Resources start to align. Relationships evolve. Opportunities emerge. Not because they weren't there before, but because you finally became the person who could see and seize them. The level of your awareness rises. Your confidence strengthens. Your energy changes. And that change is what creates momentum. Most people want momentum first so they can feel motivated to grow. But growth is what creates the momentum. The very act of becoming more, waking up earlier, thinking clearer, working smarter, speaking with conviction, learning with hunger, builds the inner infrastructure to hold success. Success doesn't change you, it reveals who you've become. If you're not growing, you're repeating. And repeating leads to stagnation. Your dream wasn't given to you to stay stuck. It was given to you as a roadmap to evolve into the highest version of yourself. There's no shortcut to this. There's no hack for becoming. It takes work. It takes choices. It takes letting go of the identity that was designed for survival and stepping into the one designed for greatness. You were never meant to stay the same. You were meant to rise. You were meant to outgrow your fears, your past, your excuses, your limitations. You were meant to become the kind of person who looks back and no longer recognizes who they used to be. Because the dream is not the goal, it's the vehicle for your evolution. And when you understand that, you stop asking how long it will take and start asking how far you're willing to go. The universe responds to commitment, not convenience. Most people live their lives waiting for the perfect moment, the right mood, the ideal environment before they fully commit. They wait until they feel ready, until things are easier, until fear goes away. But that moment rarely comes. The truth is, nothing great is built on convenience. Convenience is the language of comfort, and comfort is the enemy of growth. If you only take action when it's easy, you'll never reach the life that demands your strength. The universe doesn't reward half-hearted effort or inconsistent energy. It responds to clarity, focus, and the energy of someone who is all in. When you commit fully, without conditions, without escape routes, without backup plans, you shift the frequency you operate on. And you begin to align with the people, situations, and breakthroughs that match your level of intensity and seriousness. Commitment is a signal. It tells the universe you're ready. It tells your mind you're serious. It tells your fears they no longer have control. But commitment isn't something you declare once. It's something you prove every single day. It's how you show up when no one is watching. It's how you act when the motivation fades. It's the decision you keep making, especially when it's inconvenient, when you're tired, when you're doubting, when things aren't going according to plan. That's when commitment is tested, and that's when growth begins. Anyone can say they're committed when it feels good. Real commitment is shown in how you navigate resistance. Do you adjust your actions or your vision? Do you push through or pull back? Do you show up or shut down? The answers to these questions define the level of transformation you'll create. There is something powerful about the energy of someone who is committed. They move differently. They speak differently. They carry a presence that is unshakable. They don't negotiate with their goals. They don't entertain distractions. They don't keep checking for shortcuts. They understand that what they want doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It responds to unwavering effort. That kind of energy becomes magnetic. It draws in people who want to be part of something real. It commands attention. It opens doors. Not because it's louder, but because it's grounded in conviction. People can feel when you're serious. Opportunities can sense when you're prepared. The universe doesn't waste resources on indecision. It multiplies momentum when it knows you're not backing out. You have to make the internal shift from I'll try to I will, from maybe to no matter what, from I hope to I create. That shift changes everything. It removes excuses from the equation. It removes timing as a factor. It makes discipline your default. And with that kind of commitment, results become inevitable. Maybe not instantly, maybe not without setbacks, but eventually, because you're not just participating in life, you're directing it. You're no longer responding to conditions, you're creating them. You're no longer waiting for opportunities, you're generating them. You're no longer hoping to become someone, you are becoming someone through your daily choices and consistency. Convenience will never lead to greatness. Every extraordinary life you admire was built on inconvenient decisions. Waking up early, working when others rest, believing when others doubt, persisting when others quit. These are the actions that separate the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the transformers. Commitment turns intentions into impact. It transforms good ideas into great outcomes. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about refusing to quit when it's hard. It's about finding a way when every part of you wants to find an excuse. That mindset is rare, but it's available to anyone willing to decide that their future matters more than their comfort. When you operate from that level of inner fire, the universe has no choice but to respond. It matches your energy, magnifies your effort, and moves with you. Because you're not just interested in change, you've become unstoppable in the pursuit of it.